If you're tired of the same predictable horror movies and want something darker, more disturbing, and way more savage, you're in for a nightmare. Let's dive into 20 terrifying hidden horror gems you've probably never seen, but won't forget anytime soon. Number 20, Antiviral.
Do you not agree that the mania surrounding celebrity is reaching an unhealthy level?
In a world obsessed with celebrity, sickness becomes the ultimate commodity. Antiviral follows Sid March, a sterile and pale technician working for a clinic that sells live viruses harvested from famous celebrities to their most devoted fans. Directed by Brandon Cronenberg, the film bleeds sterile dread, its clinical visuals and body horror aesthetic channeling a twisted reflection of our fame-fueled culture. But when Sid injects himself with a fatal virus carried by a superstar who suddenly dies, he's thrown into a spiral of paranoia, mutation, and corporate horror. As he races to uncover the sinister secret behind the infection, his own body becomes a rotting battleground. Number 19, The Tunnel. Beneath the bustling streets of Sydney lies a decaying labyrinth of abandoned train tunnels and something unspeakable that lives in the dark. When the government abruptly halts a plan to recycle the tunnels for water, rumors of homeless disappearances surface. Investigative journalist Natasha leads a 4-person news crew underground to uncover the truth. But what begins as urban exploration turns into a desperate struggle for survival. Directed by Carlo Ledesma, this Australian found-footage nightmare lures viewers into suffocating darkness, where every flickering light threatens to go out and something stalks just beyond the frame. The raw, documentary-style realism amplifies the terror, making each moment feel unbearably close. Number 18, P2.
Stop it! What are you doing? Calm down! No!
On Christmas Eve, Manhattan high-rises empty out as the city winds down, except for one woman trapped beneath the surface. Angela, a young businesswoman working late, finds herself locked in her office building's underground parking garage, stalked by Thomas, the seemingly friendly security guard with sinister intentions. Directed by Frank Calfoun and produced by Alexandra Asha, this brutal claustrophobic thriller turns a mundane setting into a nightmarish prison. Fluorescent lights flicker over blood-soaked pavement as Angela fights for survival in a cold, mechanical tomb where no one can hear her scream. The terror lies in the realism and how quickly isolation and obsession twist into violence in the most ordinary of places. Number 17, Killing Ground. A peaceful camping trip spirals into a waking nightmare in the remote Australian wilderness. When Sam and Ian pitch their tent near a deserted SUV in an abandoned campsite, unease quickly sets in. As they uncover clues of a missing family, 2 strangers lurking in the bush begin to close in. Predators in human form with blood on their hands and malice in their eyes. Directed by Damien Power, this grim survival horror plays with timelines and perspective, building dread through realism rather than spectacle. The terror lies not in the supernatural, but in the cruelty of man and the sheer randomness of violence. Number 16, Open Grave. A man wakes up in a pit of corpses with no memory of who he is or how he got there. The film plunges into confusion and dread as he stumbles upon a nearby house filled with strangers, all equally amnesiac and all potential murderers. Directed by Gonzalo Lopez Gallego, this mystery horror hybrid unravels like a waking nightmare, where paranoia festers and every shadow hides a clue or a killer. As the puzzle pieces slowly fall into place, the survivors realize they might not be victims, but something far worse. The forest surrounding them is silent but not safe, and the truth is far more terrifying than anything they imagined. Number 15, The Neighbor. In the sultry, desolate backwoods of Cutter, Mississippi, secrets rot beneath the surface like corpses in shallow graves. John, a quiet man with a violent past, now works for his cruel drug-running uncle, Uncle Neil. But his world shatters when his girlfriend Rosie vanishes, and John suspects something sinister next door. Venturing into the neighbor's property, he uncovers a hidden cellar filled with unimaginable horrors, bloody tools, locked cages, and screams from the dark. Directed by Marcus Dunstan, the twisted mind behind The Collector, this brutal Southern Gothic horror plays like a nightmare with no escape. The suspense builds with feral energy, blending crime, captivity, and claustrophobic dread into a slow-burning powder keg. Number 14, Excision.
Don't make me regret saving your life.
In the pristine suburbs, where white picket fences hide quiet desperation, Pauline dreams not of boys or prom, but of blood, flesh, and surgical ecstasy. Excision drags us into the mind of a disturbed teenage girl obsessed with anatomy and plagued by vivid, gory fantasies. Directed by Richard Bates, this psychological horror spirals through a coming-of-age nightmare. Drenched in crimson and neurosis, trapped in a home with a devoutly judgmental mother and a terminally ill sister, Pauline's descent is both grotesque and heartbreaking. Her twisted desire to prove her worth as a surgeon leads to a finale so shocking it scars. Number 13, The Den. Elizabeth logs onto The Den, a web chat platform for a sociology project, but curiosity quickly turns to dread. After witnessing what appears to be a live-streamed murder, her digital life unravels as she's stalked by an unseen predator who hijacks her webcam, her home, and her sanity. Directed by Zachary Donahue, this cyber horror thriller dives headfirst into the dangers lurking in our screens. With chilling realism, The Den turns every ding of a notification into a heartbeat and every video feed into a potential death sentence. Number 12, Feast.
I'm the guy that's gonna save your ass.
A dusty bar in the middle of nowhere becomes a blood-soaked battleground when grotesque, flesh-hungry creatures descend from the darkness outside. Inside, a ragtag group of misfits like bikers, drifters, and drunks are forced to fight for survival in the most brutal and unexpected ways. Directed by John Gulager, this savage monster movie is fast, furious, and unapologetically vicious, twisting horror tropes into something wild and unrelenting. Limbs are torn, secrets are spilled, and no one is safe. Not even the so-called heroes. It's a relentless siege, packed with pitch-black humor and splatter-filled chaos. Number 11, Savageland.
And counts of first-degree murder.
Everybody seems so shocked about this. Not me.
When the border town of Sangre de Cristo is wiped out overnight, only one survivor remains, a reclusive immigrant named Francisco, found wandering alone and covered in blood. Accused of a mass-killing spree, his trial becomes a media sensation. But as investigators uncover a roll of undeveloped film taken by Francisco during the massacre, the narrative begins to fracture. Directed by Phil Guidry, Savageland unfolds as a faux documentary, weaving chilling interviews, grainy photos, and raw testimonies into a disturbingly real tale of horror. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. You won't be alone. Set in 19th century Macedonia, a mute girl is turned into a witch by an ancient spirit and begins taking the forms of those she kills to experience life through different bodies. It's a haunting, poetic exploration of identity, humanity, and the loneliness of immortality. Splinter. A young couple is carjacked and taken hostage by a desperate fugitive. But their nightmare truly begins when they all become trapped in a remote gas station. Outside lurks a parasitic creature that infects and controls its victims with deadly precision. As their bodies betray them, survival means facing a horror that doesn't stop growing. The Woman. A seemingly perfect family man captures a feral woman living in the woods and chains her in his cellar, intending to civilize her. But beneath the surface lies a storm of brutality and secrets that will erupt in violence, vengeance, and blood. The Cured.
Run!
Years after a zombie outbreak, the infected have been cured, but society refuses to forget their crimes. One man struggles to reintegrate while uncovering a dark conspiracy that threatens to reignite the chaos. When forgiveness fails, the real monsters come out of hiding. Number 10, Pulse. A flicker on a computer screen, a shadow on the wall, and then complete silence. In this chilling Japanese techno horror, a group of strangers begins experiencing strange, unexplainable events linked to a mysterious website that seems to connect the living with the dead. Directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, the film unfolds like a slow-moving fog, seeping into your bones with an overwhelming sense of isolation and despair. As spirits begin crossing into the physical world through the internet, Tokyo's bustling life gives way to eerie emptiness, and loneliness itself becomes a death sentence. Number 9, Better Watch Out. It's Christmas in suburbia, and Ashley expects a quiet night of babysitting for 12-year-old Luke. But when masked intruders invade the home, festive cheer dissolves into sheer terror, and nothing is as it seems. What begins as a home invasion thriller twists into something far more sinister, revealing the true monster lurking beneath the surface. Directed by Chris Peckover, Better Watch Out shatters genre expectations with a sharp script and shocking performances that weaponize innocence and upend every trope. The cozy holiday backdrop only amplifies the dread, turning twinkling lights and carols into instruments of psychological torture. Number 8, Savageland. The world has ended not in fire or plague, but in blood, drained by ravenous feral vampires that roam the American wasteland. In this bleak nightmare, a hardened hunter known only as Mr. escorts a teenage boy through the ruins of civilization, seeking sanctuary in a land that may not exist. Directed by Jim Mickle, this grim road horror tale blends post-apocalyptic despair with gothic savagery, painting a world where humanity is almost as dangerous as the monsters in the dark. Along their path, they encounter cults, death, and fleeting glimmers of hope, all beneath blood-red skies and decaying billboards. Number 7, Afflicted.
Kill me!
Two best friends set out to document the trip of a lifetime. A globe-trotting adventure filled with laughs, landmarks, and lasting memories. But in Paris, everything changes. After a mysterious encounter with a stranger, Derek falls violently ill, his body mutating in ways science can't explain. As the camera rolls, what begins as a travel vlog morphs into a grotesque chronicle of transformation, hunger, and horrifying revelation. Directed by Derek Lee, Afflicted blends found footage terror with vampire mythology, creating a relentless ride filled with bone-snapping body horror and doomed friendship. Number 6, Pontypool.
People are getting killed out there! Oh!
Ken, do you see any police? Is anybody trying to restore order?
A blizzard traps a radio DJ and his crew inside a small-town Ontario station, just as something strange begins infecting the world outside. Reports pour in of people speaking in tongues, then turning violent and then tearing each other apart. Directed by Bruce McDonald, this cerebral nightmare traps its horror in the mind, where language itself becomes a virus. As words spread the infection, the safety of sound becomes a ticking time bomb. With every broadcast and every whispered syllable, doom inches closer. Number 5, Ghost Stories. Professor Philip Goodman has made a career debunking the supernatural until 3 chilling cases land on his desk, each more disturbing than the last. A night watchman haunted by a child in an abandoned asylum, a teen's car ride gone horribly wrong in the woods, a wealthy man tormented by a malevolent spirit in his own home. As Goodman investigates, the lines between fact and fear blur, and the ghosts of his own past claw their way to the surface. Directed by Jeremy Dyson, this British anthology drips with dread and atmosphere, unraveling with an elegant precision that leads to a mind-shattering conclusion. Number 4, Dark Water. After a bitter divorce, a mother and her young daughter move into a decrepit apartment building hoping to start over. But the stains on the ceiling won't stop spreading, and the dripping above grows louder every night. Directed by Hideo Nakata, the mind behind The Ring, this ghost story flows with slow and relentless dread. Shadows lurk in the damp hallways, and a child's red backpack left behind holds a sorrow that seeps into everything. As reality unravels, mother and daughter are pulled into a haunting soaked in loss, abandonment, and the silent rage of the forgotten. Number 3, The Devil's Candy. When struggling painter Jesse moves his family into a rural Texas farmhouse, the price seems too good to be true. As he sinks deeper into his art, something ancient and malevolent begins to whisper through his canvas, fueling dark visions and haunting inspiration. Meanwhile, a hulking, disturbed man drawn back to the house by voices of his own is lurking on the outskirts, carrying death in his wake. Directed by Sean Byrne, The Devil's Candy fuses demonic possession, heavy metal and parental dread into a blazing, blood-soaked descent into madness. The film crackles with atmosphere underscored by a pounding soundtrack and a mounting sense of dread. Number 2, The Girl Next Door.
3.
In a quiet 1950s suburb, childhood innocence curdles into unspeakable horror. When young David befriends Meg, the new girl staying with her aunt, he never imagines the darkness festering behind that home's closed doors. Directed by Gregory Wilson and based on Jack Ketchum's harrowing novel, this film is a relentless descent into human cruelty inspired by a real-life case that chills to the marrow. As Meg endures escalating abuse in a basement prison of nightmares, the line between silent witness and complicity is drawn in blood. There are no monsters here, only people, and that's what makes it unbearable. Number 1, Hounds of Love.
Make me want you all to myself.
In the searing heat of 1980s Perth, a teenage girl vanishes without a trace. Kidnapped by a seemingly normal suburban couple, Vicky finds herself trapped in a nightmare of control, cruelty, and twisted love. As days blur into torment, her only chance of survival lies in manipulating the fragile bond between her captors. Directed by Ben Young, Hounds of Love is a suffocating psychological thriller that trades gore for emotional brutality, crafting terror from the mundane and intimacy from horror. The performances from Emma Booth as the deeply conflicted Evelyn are unnervingly raw, pulling viewers into a house of horrors hiding behind white picket fences. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. The Battery. In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, 2 former baseball players roam the zombie-infested back roads of New England. Their clashing personalities and emotional scars test their bond as much as the undead outside. In a world where everyone's infected by something, survival is as much about the mind as the flesh. Hagazusa. In a remote 15th century alpine village, a young woman ostracized as a witch grapples with grief, madness, and isolation. As paranoia and superstition consume the locals, she descends into a nightmarish, hallucinatory world where nature, death, and paganism collide. Grabbers.
This is something totally different. Something alien.
On a remote Irish island, monstrous sea creatures begin attacking the locals only to discover alcohol is toxic to the beasts. The survivors' only chance? Get as drunk as possible before nightfall. It's a boozy, blood-soaked battle where the pub becomes the last stand. One missed call. After receiving eerie voicemails predicting their own deaths, a group of friends is hunted by a malevolent force that uses cell phones to seal their fate. Time ticks down as they try to uncover the origins of the curse before it claims them all.